Justice with Judge Mablean will be life, because in everything we do, it involves the law. You came to court to testify about what you heard, what you saw, and what you know.
She's fair.
I don't have a hearing problem. This ear works good. This one works even better.
She's firm.
I'm not responsible for that ticket, and I'm not going to pay for it.
Who says you're not going to pay for it? I make that decision, not you.
She's honest.
What you have to say?
All I have to
Nothing.
say.
This is Justice with Judge Mablean. Lisa Matthews is suing Kristen Morris in the amount of $563. Ms. Matthews claims Ms. Morris borrowed money from her to attend their uncle's funeral, but not only did she not repay the loan, she never showed up at the funeral. Ms. Morris claims she drank too much and got a hangover because she was thinking about her uncle's death, and she claims that's the reason she didn't attend the funeral.
In the matter of Lisa Matthews versus Kristen Morris, I understand you are two sisters? Cousins, first cousins. You bought a plane ticket for her to come to your uncle's funeral. You didn't show up, Miss Morris. You want your money back?
Yes, I sure do.
All right, talk to me.
She owes me the money for a plane ticket, $563. She didn't show up to do the eulogy. She put herself on a program to do the eulogy. She promised she would do it. She didn't want anybody else to have that position because Uncle Martin was like a father figure to both of us, mainly her because her father was not around. He was also her godfather. And she didn't show up to do the eulogy, so she wasted the money anyways.
Show up
and
from
I want
where?
my money back.
From where? Where were you?
We were in Atlanta, our hometown, and she moved to Nevada.
All right, and the defendant was in Nevada.
Yes.
And Uncle Martin died.
Yes.
Who called her and let her know he had died?
I did.
Okay. And when you called her and told her he had died, what was the discussion about her getting to Atlanta?
Well, she said she didn't have the money. The only way she'll be able to get the money is if somebody were to loan it to her. And I told her I'll take care of it for now. She just needed to get here because we needed her there the following week.
All right. And when you said I'll take care of it for now, did she agree that it was for now and she would return it?
Yes, she did.
Was there any discussion about when she would return it?
She was supposed to pay it her next, within 2 paychecks. She was supposed to pay it to me. But it's been 200
did you know how
paychecks.
often she got paid?
Yeah, every 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. So within 4 weeks, she should have paid you.
Yes. And I've loaned her money before, and she's been good on it before, but this time, I don't know what happened.
Well, maybe she can tell us what happened.
Hi.
How are you, Miss Morris?
I'm well. Hello, Your
Now, you
Honor.
scheduled to do a eulogy at somebody's funeral and you don't show up? What kind of madness is that?
First of all, Your Honor, I am very, 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 very sorry about not showing up to the eulogy. Uncle Martin meant everything to me. And everybody grieves in their own ways. Yes, initially when my cousin offered me to come to the funeral, she knew I was in a tough time financially. I'm a bartender, but I'm also a writer as well, a freelance writer, and I'm trying to build my career so money doesn't just come in and out of my hands. I would have never agreed to a loan from her because I know I cannot pay that loan back. I'm not in a position to be able to do that.
Well, if Uncle Martin, who means the world to you, is dead and you don't have any money and you want to get to Uncle Martin's funeral, you probably would agree to anything.
Okay, and be that
Am I
as
right?
Well, you are right that I agreed to let her buy the ticket. The assumption that I was paying her back for the ticket is not what we agreed to.
But that's what I'm saying. You said I would never have agreed to a loan because I knew my financial situation. If you wanted to get to Uncle Martin's funeral, so you didn't tell her the only way I can get there is if somebody loans me the money?
I said if I got a loan. And by loan, I was even willing to go to a payday loan. I was willing to go anywhere aside from my cousin.
Well, what's the difference? A
why you
loan
couldn't
is
go
a
to your
loan is a loan.
boyfriend?
What's the difference?
Well, we're not talking about my boyfriend.
No. A loan is a loan is a loan. The only way I can come is if I get a loan. And she says, okay, I got you. So now there's your loan.
Well, no, but she didn't say a loan. She said don't work. She said don't run out and get a loan. She said I got you. I'll take care of it. So
Only
under
way
that,
I can come is if I get a loan. Don't go get one from third party because I have it.
right. And so,
So
that
why
was.
did you think that's a loan?
I would think that that was my cousin who was looking out for me to get me a ticket.
Why?
A loan
Why would
be,
she do that? Why should
a
she
loan
do that
would be
for you?
because because she's my cousin, if she cared about me so much for me to get to Uncle Martin's funeral, she would have done that.
You're Uncle Martin's goddaughter. If you cared so much to get to Uncle Martin's funeral, would you ask somebody for a loan?
I would do what I had to do to get there.
There you go.
I would, and now ask her for a loan. Ask her for a loan. Yeah, I would ask someone, but I would prefer not to ask her for a loan, because asking her for $20 is like asking her for a kidney. So there's no way that I would put myself in a position. I didn't ask. I didn't ask.
She said you asked her in the past, so I guess you got plenty kidneys.
And as a matter of fact, she offered, ma'am, and I did take her up on her offer. I have evidence here proving that there was no mention of a loan in an email that she and I both interacted.
Coming up on Justice with Judge Mablean.
I'm sure no one's doing that for you. I'm sure that's
maybe
still
they're going to work it out
happening.
within this. Maybe they'll figure out the decision right now.
Okay, as are mine.
Yours
as are mine. Your Honor, as are mine.
You finished?
And later,
how is he responsible for your roots growing in his yard that he has no knowledge of? What is he supposed to do?
Justice with Judge Mablean. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Lisa Matthews, who is suing Kristen Morris for $563.
When she offered, why would you say, oh no, because that's like giving you my kidney and I'm not giving you a kidney?
Because I was in mourning of my uncle, and I had a few days to get home to see my uncle, who was also my father. And the history is, Judge Mablean, the reason why I would rather go and get a 29% interest loan than the borrow money from my cousin is because they don't have very good things to say about me. They have their opinions about me for leaving the home. They feel like I turned my back on the family when I left to go pursue my own ambitions in Nevada.
No, you
and
left
so
to follow your no good boyfriend, pay all his bills. That's why you couldn't afford the plane ticket.
Okay, ma'am, I have a boyfriend, and so yes, he and I do work in harmony as a team. You don't know about team membership and boyfriend and relationship because you don't have one. So you don't know how to work in tandem with your partner.
I can afford
However, I do have, I guess you do,
but he
because
cannot.
you don't have anybody else to spend money on, honey.
He
So
don't
you spend your money on you.
He can't spend money on nobody, not even himself.
He can't rub my back, keep me
Seem to be
warm at
enjoying
night.
the,
He also
class.
runs my banner for me. He can also make food for me every day and tell me how beautiful I am. I'm sure no one's doing that for you. I'm sure that's
Maybe
still
they're going to work it out
happening.
within this. Maybe they'll figure out the decision right now.
Okay, as are mine.
Yours
as are mine. Your Honor, as are mine.
You finished? Whole lot of wasted breath. Your evidence
Yes.
from Lisa.
Yes, ma'am.
I just booked your flight. It leaves 6:30 Nevada. I'm glad you'll be making it out here. I know Uncle Martin would have appreciated it. I took care of your ticket for now. For now. That phrase usually means giving it to you in advance, got to give it back. Your evidence you presented. Loan. Come on with something else you want to talk about.
Okay. In the past, ma'am, when she has loaned me, like for instance, she loaned me $200 one time to help me pay for my car note when I first got to
We're not
Nevada.
talking about the past. We're talking about this plane ticket.
Right. And so in that time, she said that you have 2 weeks, pay me back when you get paid. This time there was no set date as to when anybody was.
Okay, so she didn't give you a certain time.
She didn't give me a certain time, so therefore I was unaware of the fact that it was a loan.
But you gave me your evidence and said I could prove to you that it wasn't by the emails between us.
For me,
and this
that is
email
proof.
says, no, this email proves it's a loan.
If someone tells me they got me, then I'm assuming that they got me.
For now.
That to me is still
Which means
up
it's
in
not
the air.
forever. You gonna give me back my money.
But she hasn't. The only reason she's harping
you
on
know
it,
what?
ma'am, is because I wasn't able to attend
Well,
the funeral.
You're right. You raised a good point there. She may have forgiven the loan, and she may have not asked you to return it had you kept your word and come and done the eulogy.
Sure.
Not only did you not pay her back, you had the nerve not to show up after you get to Atlanta. Where did you go?
Miss Mablean, as she said, I was very, very close to my uncle. We left on bad terms. The last we spoke, we did not resolve issues that we had unresolved, and I was torn up about it. My family does not care for me very much, and my friends.
Where did you go?
I went to have some drinks. I was mourning, and I'm a bartender. I stopped drinking. I haven't drank in almost 2 years since prior to me coming to the funeral.
So you went somewhere and got drunk?
I got drunk, and I was irresponsible.
Totally.
totally irresponsible. I was sick the next day, and I felt terrible.
And didn't know how to dial anybody's phone number?
Well, actually...
Didn't have anybody's number, couldn't call them and say a word?
No, ma'am, that's not what happened. I did not have my cell phone. My cell phone was
couldn't borrow
lost.
a cell phone?
I didn't have anybody's access to numbers, ma'am.
Who did you go drinking with?
I went drinking with some friends, some old friends.
Okay, so why couldn't you use one of their phones?
Ma'am, the next morning I didn't wake up till the funeral was over.
Where did you spend the night?
I spent the night with my friends. I couldn't even stay at the house. I was so distraught all week.
Wait a minute, you spent the night with your friends?
I did.
So when you woke up the next morning, where were your friends?
They were there, but it was
so
too
why
late.
couldn't you use somebody's phone and call one of your family members?
Well, I did after I woke up, but I had missed the funeral. After I had missed
so you slept all day?
Well, no, I slept till about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And by the time I woke up, the funeral, they were already about to start the processional and take them to the, obviously to the burial grounds. And I had missed it. I felt terrible. I wanted to but mind you, I had been helping them make arrangements for the funeral when I got there. I helped them cook prior to that. I stayed up with my family.
That's what you were supposed to do.
I understand that, but I did that. So it's not like I just came and just dipped out. And
but
just
you
went
were
out
scheduled to do the eulogy.
And
yes,
I
ma'am.
had evidence that she was scheduled
yes,
to do
ma'am.
the eulogy.
She doesn't deny it.
No, ma'am, I do not.
No, I understand you were grieving. But your grieving cost you. I understand that. And what you have to accept is that I acted irresponsibly, and rather than getting drunk to deal with his death, I should have done something else. You're free to grieve any way you want, but you're not free to accept the consequences.
Yes,
you're not free to reject the consequences.
Yes, ma'am, but
So she bought the ticket. You should have paid her back for the ticket. Now pay the girl. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $563.
You were irresponsible by not showing up to the funeral. I hoped you learned your lesson.
And you will never know how sorry I am for missing our uncle's funeral, but hopefully this time you'll learn to worry about your own life.
Coming up.
How is he responsible for your roots growing in his yard that he has no knowledge of? What is he supposed to do?
Justice with Judge Mablean. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. Lynn McGee is suing Kevin Vernon in the amount of $789.98. Ms. McGee claims Mr. Vernon is responsible for her tree dying, and she wants him to pay for it to be removed. Mr. Vernon claims he's not responsible for the plaintiff's tree, and he claims he warned Ms. McGee there would be construction.
In the matter of Lynn McGee versus Kevin Vernon, suing him for $789.98, the cost you incurred to have a tree removed from your yard. But you blame Mr. Vernon for having to do that. Explain that to me.
Yes, Your Honor. My neighbor here about a year ago came to me to explain that he wanted to install a swimming pool in his backyard. And, I had absolutely no problem with that. I was happy for him, and I actually saw the opportunity for myself to join in the fun. And, but unfortunately, fast forward to 5 months ago, I was in my backyard with my dog, Fluffy, and just enjoying the sun, and all of a sudden I see Fluffy chewing on something, and when I looked, she was chewing on a mushroom. This was a mushroom that was actually growing on the tree that I had in my backyard, my oak tree.
A toadstool, Your Honor.
A what?
A toadstool.
Toadstool?
Yeah, it grows off the tree bark, about this, not edible.
Okay.
I looked around and found it growing on the tree on the right side of my oak tree, which is the side where my neighbor's swimming pool has been installed.
What type of tree was it?
It's an oak tree. And that tree is about 30 years old. It was already there when I moved in about 20 years ago. A tree, when something is wrong with a tree, that can cause a lot of damage.
Right.
It's quite dangerous. So I did some research on the internet, and a lot of the articles mentioned that if you find mushroom at the base of a tree, that can be an indication of a serious problem with the roots or the trunk itself. So I was really, quite worried about that. And then some of the articles also mentioned dead wood. So at first I did not notice any of that. So I went back outside. I looked around, and sure enough, there was dead wood scattered all over that had fallen from the oak tree. What I had to do, since I know nothing about trees, I had to hire an arborist. And she came in, and actually you have a copy of her report.
I don't have anything yet.
She is
you haven't submitted it to me.
She unfortunately could not be here today because she had a family emergency. But there you have a certified statement that, of her findings when she came in and did her investigations. She actually used GPR, which is a ground penetrating radar, to image the roots, and found that the majority of the feeder roots had been damaged. And that is really important because the feeder roots absorb minerals and water, and that impacts the way the tree feeds itself. So that's why we're here today. I mean, we've got a tree that the arborists say is decaying or was decaying and had to be
but the roots were over in his yard.
Yeah, it spreads out.
Coming up.
How is he responsible for your roots growing in his yard that he has no knowledge of? What is he supposed to do?
Justice with Judge Mablean. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Lynn McGee, who is suing Kevin Vernon for property damage.
So now, how is he responsible for your roots growing in his yard that he has no knowledge of? What is he supposed to do?
Well, of course he has no knowledge, just like I don't have any knowledge of
so
that.
he had no knowledge that your tree roots, that's your tree, were in his yard. So technically, he could have just removed all those roots out of his yard. And he doesn't even know. How does he know that the roots that's in his yard is from your tree as opposed to an old tree that may have been in that yard before he bought the property, or 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, or 40 years ago? How is he to know that these were your tree roots?
I understand, Your Honor. I mean,
right.
I know that he doesn't know, but I don't know either.
That's my point. So how is he responsible then?
But the thing is, the fact is there was a dead tree that had to be removed, and I think that
the fact is the dead tree that had to be removed was your dead tree. The fact is that this man did everything on his property that he had a right to do. Even if he had seen the roots, his contractor could have removed them without saying anything to you because that's in his yard. And he can take up anything he wants in his yard. And if it negatively impacts your yard, he's not responsible for that because those roots are your tree in his yard. Now, he could have sued you saying your roots damaged his yard. Then what?
Judge Mablean's verdict when Justice with Judge Mablean returns. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean.
It's like
you have
nature.
to prove that someone is at fault to bring them to court and ask them to pay you money. It's neither of your fault. Therefore, judgment for the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
I'm going to chalk this up to being an honest mistake.